Good evening, and if you're just tuning in, you are listening live to the Angel Rock on 105.3 and 107.7 out of the beautiful city of New Orleans, Louisiana. And I am your host of this one show and another show. This show is called The Angel Rock. I am Lorilei Potvin, a Canadian clairvoyant medium, crystal Reiki energy healer, Akashic Records practitioner, spiritual teacher and mentor, and registered nurse. And I'm also the co-host of The Thing at the Foot of the Bed on Thursdays here with my amazing co-host David Hansel at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I see we've got Kevin, Z Sun Dragon here already, and you get little old me tonight because here in North America, it is a long weekend, the last long weekend of this summer, and it's called Labor Day. Hello, Nicole Thomas Ryan. And tonight, I love doing shows like this. Hopefully, it's not too loud. If it gets too loud, I'll close the window. I had a tank top on and I keep one on, but they prefer that we wear at least sleeves of some sort because we have had the hottest weather of the whole season. And I just talked to my neighbor, and she was in Minnesota, and she said they had a heat wave warning there too. It has just been insane, the heat. Nice, of course, but still nonetheless. So I wasn't sure. I guess I should do all my housekeeping things I normally do. I'm not streaming tonight on Roku, but we do have a TV channel for the network called UFO Paranormal and United Public Radio. And I stream The Thing at the Foot of the Bed there. But there's lots of the other shows that also stream there too. So I don't have a channel code, but if you want to find the show, all you have to do is sign into your Roku account. You're going to go to the channel store and you're going to look exactly up UFO space P as in paranormal. But you can hear me just fine. Well, that's good to hear. And there's going to be a drop-down list. We're about the third or fourth one down. And again, you're looking for UFO, Space, Paranormal, and United Public Radio. Also, if you are on Facebook, don't worry. I will highlight you so you'll know. And some people have done it numerous times, but usually you just have to do it once. If you might have to head over to StreamYard.com/Facebook. You're going to give them permission to use your name and your picture, and then we'll know who you are. Either that, or you can type your name behind, or you can remain anonymous if you'd like. Also, what else do I want to tell you here? My goodness, I was 87 degrees there. Nicole Thomas Ryan says in Gastonia, North Carolina, but feels like 91 degrees. We are at least that. My hair is soaking wet. There's nothing I could do with it. Hello, Robert Odell, the brother of Howie Odell. He says it's 94 here in Richmond, Virginia. Greetings from the Riff Nation Network. Yes, we love the Riff Nation Network and the Orion Effect. Awesome. Yes. Or is that Howie using Robert's account? I'm not sure, but welcome. Yeah, I think we're all experiencing a heat wave. It kind of seems like in North America to send the summer out with a bang, I guess. Now, if you like what you see, please like, share, and subscribe. Tell all your friends and family because there's something for everybody here. This network's been around for over 25 years. We stream multiple shows on each day of the week. But when we're not streaming live, we also syndicate a lot of different shows. But when we're not doing that, the archive server's running. So there's shows from way back in the past. They kind of the archive server just randomly picks. So there's something for everybody. And don't forget, because you get people that tune in at the last minute and they go, oh no, I've missed the show. No, you have not missed the show. There's always a video backup. I have one on my channel, The Angel Rock with Lorilei Potvin. We have two YouTube channels. We're streaming to our main one, which is UFO Paranormal Radio. Facebook, also on Facebook, I'm streaming on my profile in my Paranormal University group. I believe we're streaming to Canada's Most Haunted. And let's see what else. News on the Flip Side, UFO Undercover. We're on 8 different platforms, so you can find us there as well. There is always an archive for anywhere where podcasts or talk radio are carried. Our network is. Like, you can probably go to the most obscure app and you will find us there, so you can always hear. It's Howie under Rob. I figured Howie, he's under his brother Robert Odell's his profile tonight. It says Howie on vacation. Enjoy, Howie. And Sandra says hi. I think she was saying hi to Kenny. Oh boy, Kevin, you're starting us off right, because I didn't know if we were going to be doing some readings tonight. I pulled out a bunch of cards. I downloaded a bunch of creepy videos. Kevin says, "You and your portals, Kevin." And I don't mean that facetiously. He says, "A portal last year opened in my living room. I have my protections up and am guarded, but you know how things slip in the cracks. Saw it in my mind's eye, was translucent like, and knocked a mug over." You know, I am going to close this window because the traffic gets loud, and my neighbor was storing some furniture for a friend of his, and it looks like he's moving into his own place. So they'll be back and we'll be hearing that. So I thought I better close the window. I was hoping it would be quiet. So Kevin then says, which smashed a small glass candle holder. So I pushed back back into the portal with light from my own energy, and it vanished. Interesting. Well, I am convinced in my previous home, because I am very well versed in the paranormal as well. And I'm positive there was at least one portal open in my previous home. We had numerous people try and help us, try and get rid of what was there. And it never did get rid. We never did get rid of it. But as I always say, sort of what Spirit's shown me, speaking of the mind's eye, that over on the other side, they don't use names. Everybody's connected. It's all energy. And the vision they gave me when they look down on earth here, everybody looks like these little tiny pinpricks of light. But those of us that are utilizing the gifts that I believe all of us have, that it's our birthright. It almost looks like, you know, those old movies where somebody's driving down a dark highway and all of a sudden this big flashing vacancy, no vacancy sign pops up. And it's not just good that can see us, it's also negative things that can see us. And I believe there are negative things here because we live in a world of duality on this planet, right? Hot, cold, good, bad, light, dark. So it's not just the good that can see us. So I could certainly understand what you're explaining here. And Kevin says you then had glass to clean up. And Sandra says, "Good job, Kevin." Yes, let me tell you, I have had some intriguing things that had I not ever witnessed it with my own eyes, I don't think I would have believed it myself. And I do believe we knew where the portal was, but I had light workers that did this kind of stuff. I had, oh my gosh, I can't tell you the amount of people I talked to and tried to clear it. We eventually just left it, thinking we left the home and thought, well, you know, okay, we're leaving. We never brought it in. We weren't playing with something that could have possibly opened the portal. But we've had some activity at this house, nothing like the previous home. So thank God for that. But, and then Kevin says, this was 2 years ago. Otherwise, my back hallway is like the Trans Canada Highway for passerbys walking through with activity. But I think that happens to a lot of us. And I will tell you, in the field that I'm in, and many people are as light workers, I do meet a lot of light workers that say, I've never encountered anything negative. And I say, I'm happy for you, and I hope that you never do. But maybe we built it into our experience before we incarnated here, that you know, we were going to have experiences with the negative. I'm not sure, but I can tell you that um, I'm going to show you a video. I know Dave won't mind because we showed it. I think we showed it on Thursday, but Dave was on talking with the source with Robin Haffern from Haffern Paranormal. Haven't seen him for a while. I'm going to have to message him. And Jonathan from JK47 Paranormal Investigations. And we have AJ Capasso. And thank goodness, I think it was AJ that noticed while they were live, David, my co-host from Thursday nights, hi Lizzie McLeod, had a massive black shadow pass right past him while they were live. He didn't know what that was. I remember a couple Mondays ago, I had Carrie Lynn Shellhorn, who has an amazing show here on UPRN on Friday afternoons from 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Spirit Switchboard. And that night, I had a really bad toothache. It was, I know when it was the beginning of August. It was the August long weekend. We came in the Monday because we have the August long weekend here in Canada. And I didn't want to tell people I had a toothache, but I talked like I had cotton in my mouth practically. And then we had an EVP, but I was so distracted. I have never, ever, ever been that distracted. And it was literally like when you're on the phone and kids, it's like a magnet. They come and start anything they can to get your attention away from whom you're speaking to. And that's what was happening. And the minute we ended the show, because Carrie Lynn's a really gifted medium and healer, and she said, "Who was that man?" And I said, "I know he was so pushy." I think he was just a drive-by or popper in. I think pop in. I think that people, on the other side, if they haven't crossed over, I think they get curious or other things like that and notice the light or whatever it may be, the energy, and pop in to take a look and see what's going on there. So Kevin says, yes, I agree, Lorilei. Hang on, I gotta wait for it to come up. It's rare, but negative things happen to me. That is usually good vibes happen more. Yeah, they do. And we had a lot of physical attacks in a previous home, but until I sort of understood more about what the principles of energy were, and that with everything being energy, which I understand, coming from a science background, but like attracts like energy on this planet. So once you understand about raising the vibrational energy in a space, it's no longer a match for something lower. So that's how we were able to stop the physical attacks. So Howie says, let's see, my wife has all of a sudden started getting spiritual supplies, holy water, stones, evidently she's preparing for something, and I have been on alert mentally. What's up with you? Is that a question you're asking me from spirit? I'm going to wait to hear back from you. And I just want to make sure that is this you, Robert, or is this you, Howie? Just so I know that I'm tuning into the right energy here. I don't need cards. I use cards just because it helps. I figured it was Robert. It was feeling more like Robert. So, well, what I will say, Robert, my belief is, and I always say to people, take what resonates with you and leave the rest. But when one person starts a spiritual journey and the other person maybe isn't at the same place or feeling that calling, the best you can do is to be supportive. Okay. It doesn't necessarily mean something negative is happening. So, the fact that you've taken notice of this, the biggest thing I'm going to suggest, if you're able to, when maybe things are, kind of calm and you're kind of just hanging out and maybe sitting outside or something in the backyard, is to have a conversation with her and mention these things to her that you're noticing what's happening, and ask her what's up with it, first of all, because I'm not really feeling something negative associated with this, unless I've misunderstood. You said I'm preparing for something, or evidently she's preparing for something, and you've been on alert mentally. So there's nothing wrong with being alert mentally as well. And I would strongly encourage anybody, and I always used to say it was a fine line between fear and standing in your dominion, as I call it, as a human being. So, standing in the power and the knowledge that we have been given the gift of living on this planet. And I believe if you were worried, say, about something lower vibrational energy type entity, it really has no right being here, right? And if I to oversimplify it, I really believe part of the reason why they're here is for food, if you will, because they feed off of things like fear, sadness, anger, depression. They find a way in also, and this is said with no judgment. And I'm not saying this is your wife's situation. I don't know in any way, shape, or form. But those that utilize alcohol and drugs regularly, that can also weaken our energy field, and it's much easier for something negative to find a way in and feed. So but I'm not feeling that. For whatever reason, I'm feeling more or less that your wife, something must have happened that piqued your interest, and she's, I wouldn't know if I would call it preparing, but maybe educating, fortifying her knowledge. Because where I was going with this is, I think we have nothing to fear. Yes, I will definitely say this. This is sometimes where Dave and I disagree, and that's okay too. But can you be hurt by the paranormal? Yes. But it's very, very rare, like Kevin said. And the other thing is, once you understand about the principles of energy, you like attracts like energy. So if you're in a really, not you, but I'm using the global you're in a fearful state, stuff is going on, it's really scaring everybody in the house. I think that spirits like this, especially, can manipulate our energy and our emotions, because I can't tell you the amount of people I've worked with that I'll find that they're having a lot of fights and a lot of arguments where they never did before, a lot of depression, things like that, right? So I think they can manipulate the energy in the house as well to make people sort of stay within those lower vibrational states. To me, this sort of feels and sounds like more of something happened that piqued her interest, and she's furthering her education with whether it's her abilities or more about spirituality. So let me just read some of these answers here. I'm going to read what your feedback is, and then I'll pull a card for you. And if I'm wrong, nothing wrong with that. I always tell people that, you know what, we're human too that do this kind of work, and we're not 100% correct. I always tell people, if anybody tells you they guarantee you 100% anything, run, because we're human, we make mistakes. So Nicole says, hang on, I highlight your comment here. We had invited some people over, and the guy talked about that he used to practice dark things. I think the smell came from him. Did I miss something here, Nicole? I might have missed it. Hang on, let me go back. Oh, okay, let me go back to that in a minute. I'll get back to Robert, not Howie, and then I'm going to go back to yours. So Roger Blair says, howdy, welcome. And you said, yes, you're keyed up, Robert. Okay, so let me finish with you, and then I'm going to go back to Nicole's comment. True, she was Catholic, could have been a nun. Brahaha. Well, we could have been many things in past lives, right? It was funny. I wasn't going to grab my deck for past lives, and I did. And I wasn't going to grab it, but I did. That may have something to do with it, but probably not. I'm more along, I used to be Catholic. I guess with you're Catholic, but I no longer, and I don't have a problem with people that do. It's just for myself, I don't subscribe to Catholicism and its dogma. I'm more of a spiritual type person. So just remember, because you're partners, Robert, you and your wife, that if you're keyed up, she's also going to feed off of that. So, what I was feeling more from spirit is to be able to have a conversation when things are calm, and let her know that you're just curious and sharing your feelings. Like, are you preparing for something, or what's brought this on all of a sudden, in a non judgmental way, and find out where she's coming from, because we are also powerful manifestors. Our thoughts, our words, and our emotions are so incredibly powerful. We've never been taught to think or act the way that we do, or say, like, we've never been taught these type of things. Sorry, I was getting distracted. I don't know if my dog's trying to break in here. I keep her out because she jumps all over the bed. But where I'm going with this is, so if you're keyed up, she's going to feel that as well. Okay. So by asking her and opening those lines of communication, because if we think that something bad is going to happen, or where you said you were getting worked up and keyed up, and it almost felt like you're waiting for the other proverbial shoe to drop, we can actually create that kind of thing by having those thoughts and worries and concerns and things like that. Versus, one of the things I always say, and I have to remind myself too, is focus on what we want to see, not what we don't. So just by your wife getting involved in these things doesn't necessarily mean that she's preparing for a battle or for something negative to come. Maybe she's just feeling that calling. And I think a lot of us do. Sometimes we don't know what that calling is, but remember, we're all just walking each other back home, right? It's a quote that's out there, but we are, and I believe we live forever. And when we're done here, we go, as I call it, back home. Everybody has a different belief system about it. But what I'm trying to say too is, I believe we have dominion. Now, whether your belief is God or Buddha or the universe, or maybe there's people that are atheists, that's fine too. It doesn't matter. But I think in the belief of a higher power, I think we've been granted, never mind just the gift of being the guardians and keepers and the ability to live on this earth, we also have been granted dominion. So things that don't belong here, I believe that we have the right to say something that's evil, that's causing a lot of issues of paranormal activity, to say, no, you don't belong here. You need to leave. Kind of like what Kevin did. When he shared it earlier, it was the Sun Dragon. Hey, Jonathan, I was just talking about you a few minutes ago. And so, Robert, you're saying she's working tonight. So this is so true. More positive thoughts. Yeah. So, and again, what I'm saying to you is with no judgment. What I'm saying is, if you're, that's what it really feels like you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like, what brought this on all of a sudden? Like, what's going on now? What's going to be coming? Instead of maybe just asking her, I'm really curious. This is with no judgment, but I'm just wondering, where's this all coming from? And let her tell you what she's thinking or feeling, and then you can kind of go from there. Because as much as we sometimes can read our own partner's minds, and we are deeply connected because we are partners. Oh, my battery's running low here. Hang on, guys. We don't need to cut out on this. Let me get my computer plugged back in. Ugh, decided it was going to unplug. Sorry, my cat was on the computer. I hope I'm still here. Good, I'm still here. Um, so communication is key, right? And the thing too, I want to add, I didn't mean to get so long into this, but this is how powerful we are, and not from an egotistical perspective. But say she was having difficulty, say she was really fearful of something that was to come. You have the ability, so does she, but say she wasn't able to. You have the ability to create. I have a video I share so much on my YouTube channel, two of them. One of them is how to create a love shield, rather than saying we need to shield ourselves, we need to protect ourselves. Yes, we do, but not coming from a fear-based perspective. The same thing, I think we really need to be grounded. Now, that just doesn't mean people. We can ground our properties, we can ground our buildings, and say, that's where I was going with this, Robert, is say maybe she's not able to do that. You can put that out there when you're doing a grounding routine, and include your family members. If they're higher selves, I've yet to run into a higher self that does not want grounding. But if there was, then they have the ability to refuse it. So we can do for our loved ones or others. That's why things like Reiki works. Sending love, light, and energy. We use sigils and Reiki symbols to help strengthen it. Crystal Reiki, I use crystals and many other things with it. But we're all capable of this. I don't know if it answers your question, but you said, you've got a boss. I don't know why you said that, but you said her job worried her a lot, but that has calmed down. Okay, I'm glad to hear that. I'm not sure maybe what she does or maybe what she's seen. And, there's lots of different things you can do, but I'm starting to get into a lot of specifics here, and I don't want to do that to you. You said maybe she's getting backtracked. It could be, but you know what I'm trying to say? I guess the main thing is, the easiest way to get to the root of this is to have a calm, loving, supportive conversation and find out where she's coming from. Why does she feel this way? Why is she worried about these type of things? Or you're picking up maybe that she's preparing for something. Let me pull a card for you and we'll see, what one do I want to pull? This one right here. I heard from Spirit. And then I'm going to go back to Nicole's comment here. I hope that answers for you. But remember that when we're in a place of fear, where it's already sort of a low vibrational emotion, if you will, and believe me, say you did have something negative around, um, there's a way to get rid of it. Like I really like what Kevin shared here is the Sun Dragon about the portal, and he filled it with light and sent it back. When I had the guy earlier, when I was talking about when Carrie Lynn was on and we had gotten off the air, because I was wondering, who is this guy and why is he here? Because he was so pushy. And what I ended up doing when I connected with Spirit, and Spirit said, flood the house with light, flood the property with light and love. And that's what I did. And it was gone. It was gone. I don't know if it was just a passerby or what. I just, and could I have chosen to possibly connect and find out what he wanted? I could have, but I just didn't feel like I was a good match for whatever he was needing by the way things were presented. So I chose to instead send love and light. And I know that he'll find his way. I mean, we have guides still, even if we don't cross over. We have angels around us. We have all these things around us. So that's what I did. But again, that's the biggest thing I can definitely suggest to anybody. It doesn't matter if it's husband and wife, whether it's a child or say you got an adolescent with issues. Um, open communication and finding out what the root of it is, because we can surmise all we want or think something that we're feeling, but a lot of times we can be wrong about that. And the best way to find out is from the person you're worried about and concerned about. I hope that helps. I'm going to pull a card for you. See what we got. Gotta love spirit. Never fails. They'll give us usually a theme I find when I do readings, as well as a pretty right on about this. So the deck I pulled from, heard from spirit, was Keepers of the Light by Kyle Gray. And the card I'm giving you is from spirit is hope, love, and acceptance. Love is yours. Recognize your divine worth and choose loving thoughts. Now, there's a lot of yellow in here. So we can even work with color. I'm not trying to push my YouTube channel. Believe me, it's not a big YouTube channel. But under the video tab, I do have a video that teaches you how to feel energy and what certain colors feel like for yourself and what you may feel from the color and how you may use it. But I don't know if you have any crystals. If you don't, that's fine. Even just pulling in the color yellow can also be very healing and bring a lot of positivity, warmth, and light into your situation. So I hope that helps you, Robert. Hi, Kelly Hopkins. Okay, I'm going to go back here. Awesome stuff, Robert said, and thank you. You're so welcome. Like I said, I was starting to get into the sort of what I would get into with a reading, and we go a little bit deeper and find out a little bit more about the situation. But that's why I stopped. Sometimes I end up going on forever here. The spirit kisses me so much while I'm talking, and I'm trying to hear them and speak at the same time. So I'm going to back up here because I want to see what Nicole said, because I miss that. So Nicole Thomas Ryan, and I'll get to you, I promise. That's why I love doing shows like this, because we all get to interact, not the same as face-to-face, but get to talk about what you all want to talk about. So Nicole said, I have something very dark and evil in my house for a while. Smelled like something was dead, and the smell moved around. The smell would disappear and come back. Believe me, I am familiar with that smell. Okay, I'm going to go back to where she said we had invited some people over, and the guy talked about that he used to practice dark things. I think the smell came from him. So when you say you think the smell, wait, you've answered more here. I think you've answered what I asked. He brought that dark thing in, or he left it here. Okay. So let me go down. I said hi, Jonathan. I was talking to JK47 Paranormal Investigations. Let me see. I'm going to go down a little bit further. I'm going to get to your comment, Kevin. Hang on. And Sandra's. Thank you, Jonathan, for sharing. I really appreciate it. I'm well, Kelly. Thank you. She said, sending love and right back at you and everybody here. Okay, so let's talk about this. So Nicole says, I did cleansing and told it to leave very forcefully. It left and it didn't come back. There you go, right? Now, the one thing I learned about when dealing with things that are negative, it's so important for us to be grounded. And that's the number one thing I think that we forget, even in this spirituality field, the paranormal field. So one thing I never saw an abundance of, I'm starting to see more of it, right? You got to protect yourself, and yeah, I agree with that. But from what Spirit showed me, human beings with the chakra systems we have, or sometimes people call them chakras, or the invisible energy systems from top to bottom, I think that we're meant to live in balance, that we are meant to be connected through our crown chakra, and we have many chakras higher up above our head that connect us to source. And when we're in perfect balance, we're deeply grounded to the earth, or as I like to refer to her as Gaia. And when we are, it's kind of like when things just are, we've all been there where things just seem to, everything just seems to fall into place. And even emotionally, you just feel really grounded. I don't know a better word for it, right? You're just happy, full of joy, noticing good things around you, and what have you. Okay, so when we're dealing with negative entities, being grounded, number one. I love what you shared here, Nicole, what you did with cleansing. There's many different ways to cleanse a home. And if you're not sure, that's when you call in somebody like myself or other people that do these type of things to help you with the cleansing. Okay. The other thing is you told it very forcefully to leave. You can do that, as well as people will think that by challenging it or getting angry, and I'm not saying yourself, Nicole. What I'm saying is a lot of people think this, or they tend to emulate what they see on TV. That is not the way to deal with it. And I was at a spiritual, I guess, conference one time, and I was going through a lot of the paranormal stuff that was going on at my home. And where we were, it was a really interesting place. There were some ufology things going on. Um, Really cool story about a little fairy house they had, and we had put a crystal sort of at the back opening, and I've never seen anything like it. I swear to God, it was just sucked right in there. I don't know what sucked it in. I didn't see any little hands or anything. But then we started hearing a lot of growling, and there was a lot of shadows one night, and it was me and one or two other people. And when I stood up to this thing, using light, using love, being grounded, but was so forceful about it, not angry. It just, you do not belong here. You need to leave. You need to leave now. Okay, I can't even say it the way I did. My voice is cutting out. But there was many other things that I did. But that's what I'm talking about, forcefully. And you can call in your support team. You have guides, you have angels, there's ascended masters, there's all these higher beings, higher vibrational beings behind you. You can do that. There's many different things. I have even seen people that do this regularly also work with some of what may be considered a little bit darker beings as well. Now, that's not something I do. And I'm also not foolish enough to say I go into a situation and assess. If it's something I'm not comfortable with or I haven't dealt with, I'm no hero. I have no problem saying this is way out of my league or my realm. I'm happy to connect you with somebody that does this regularly, because I think that we need to have a knowledge base. Like I said, be grounded, be protected, but also recognize that, say somebody had a house problem and you went there to go and help your friend, for example, and then you got there and there was a bunch of electrical that needed to be done. And again, I use these examples. Could you go on YouTube and maybe kind of try and figure it out? Yes. But why not call somebody in that does it every day? That's an electrician, right? So that's where I'm going with this. Um, the other thing is, Nicole, when you have somebody that maybe does dark things or what have you, and you don't find out till they're in your home, you can also put a shield up too, right? Like you can put a shield up of light. Like I said, mine's called a love shield because I think the most important and powerful emotion we have as human beings is love. So you can do that. And I think David and I were talking about this last Thursday. I'm positive it was him. And it kind of starts with imagination, if you will, because that's how powerful our mind is. If we're able to see it, sense it, feel it, and imagine, that's how we're eventually able to bring something, like with the law of attraction. So you start to picture, like, and everybody uses something different, right? Or you can picture whatever was in there being pushed out the door if you want, or there's lots of different things you can do, or call the JK-47. Well, you could do that. There is no space and time on the other side. You could. But like I said, I think you got to do your homework. And I have a whole thing that I go through with people that I don't charge to work with people with the paranormal. And I don't I don't go to people's houses, obviously, if they're halfway across the world or something, because on the other side, there is no space and time. You do not have to be right in front of somebody to have somebody help you if they know what they're doing. And I have gotten help with some of the few things that have been going on here. And the reason why is I'm too close to the situation. And if I could have gotten rid of it, it would have been gone already. So I could not get, there was many people that tried from my previous home to get rid of what was there. I don't know if it was something that followed me when I did palliative care. Maybe somebody had an attachment that followed me home. I don't know what it was or why it was there. We were never looking for it, but it found us. So let me go back up here. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything here. So Robert says, yes, Howard always gets on me about that. And it's so true. Thanks, Brother Howie. And grounding, Robert says. And Jonathan says, yes, I use my spirit guides to help now. Yeah. And I always tell people, whether you believe in spirit guides or not, they believe in you. They've been there. They made the agreement to be with you before you incarnated into this lifetime, and they'll be there as you leave. So we have a whole team, and we have different guides that come in at different times and periods in our life. I can tell you, when I'm doing a crystal Reiki session, I call in the person I'm working with, their medical guides, specifically for, and no, I'm not curing anything, but say there's a medical issue that we're dealing with at the time, I will ask for their team as well as a regular team to come and help assist, as well as my team. And I always say, it's not me doing this. I'm just the male person. It's just delivering through myself. But again, I think it's important for us to understand too. And again, take what resonates and leave the rest, that we have to be very savvy about what we are able to do and maybe what we're not familiar with. And I'm not saying that somebody can't ever do that, but it might be better to have somebody help mentor you and teach you. Say, especially if you are working with people that do have some very dark things around them. But it sounds like you handled it beautifully, Nicole. And Nicole says, exactly. I covered myself with light, called in protection, and told it to go. It was my home and it had to leave. Yes. And like I've said before, say you get somebody that passes away tragically very quickly and they don't realize that they've died. And can you imagine, like, you're walking along and everybody looks the same, but nobody can hear you, nobody can see you, and you go back to your house and all of a sudden these strangers move into your house and you try picking up the phone to call the police to get them out and the phone won't work. And you're like, what the heck is going on? Nobody can hear me. Nobody can see me. And so what would you do to make strangers leave your home? Plus, we also hear a lot about it when people start renovating. So imagine you had a situation like that and you really didn't know you had died. And you've got these people, never mind, they've moved into your house. Now they're ripping it apart. They've gotten rid of everything in your home. What would you do to make your presence known? Now, does that make you evil? No. But if you've got no better way to communicate and you want to get rid of the people in your home because you think it's still your home, kind of makes a little bit of sense, doesn't it? It's just some food for thought. Now, Kelly says, and Kelly and Steve, oh, Kelly makes beautiful crystal bracelets. So, Kelly, feel free to put your link in the chat. And her and Steve will do a lot of, her hubby do some ITC and things like that. They've got some really amazing results. Kelly said some funny things. I've known Kelly for quite a few years. Kelly, I think till the day I die, I'm never going to forget the guy that was stuck in the door with the hands in the face in your old place. It wasn't a real guy. It was some spirit thing, and you could see it in the picture. It was crazy. So Kelly says, I asked my angels, ascended masters, spirit guides, and now my great ancestral universal angel to help. And I also use a forceful tone to ask the spirits to leave. Yes, because there's a fine line between getting angry, or I've seen some people being very well-meaning, especially when we're dealing with what we were dealing with years ago, not knowing all the things I know now. And people would say, well, you just send that demon down to my house. I will kick it right in the butt. I've never been hurt. I've never been scratched. I never blah, blah, blah. And I say to them, or I have said to them with the utmost respect and love, I really appreciate and I'm so grateful for the fact that you feel that way, but you do not want to invite something like this into your life because they do not listen to you, nor do they go after things that you can control. They'll go after your children. They will go after your money. They will go after your finances. They will go after your relationships. Anything that will cause the biggest amount of fear, sadness, depression, and pain, because basically that's the food, right? So you definitely don't want to be inviting something, nor do you want to be dealing with it with anger, because again, you're just feeding it, right? So, Jonathan, I'm not sure why you said helm of awe. Okay. And then you said always go with the intent to help. Yes, help and spirit. But again, like I said, I think we have to be in the right space. And Jonathan, I'm not necessarily saying yourself, but for people hearing this, because we've got people listening from all over the world, that if you're not sure, or maybe you want to get involved in this, I've had a lot of people over the years, it's usually been young men and they've been loners their whole life and they've really, really wanted to fit in and they've seen these paranormal TV shows. And so thinking that maybe that might, well, many different reasons, giving them a sense of purpose or maybe fitting in or whatever. And they end up going to these notorious places around the world and they start emulating what they've seen on TV. And I've had a few people take things from these locations and then they can't understand why all hell breaks loose in their home. So I think that we have to be educated. I think that there's nothing wrong with wanting to learn how to do this, but I really believe that we need mentors and teachers to show us how to do this. So if you do want to do this, see if you've got maybe a team around you that's willing to take some new members and show you, do your homework and your research and make sure, that they're well established. Bigger cities, there usually is. Where I live, not so many, but I know Carrie Lynn had a team that was from where I live in Thunder Bay on her show, Spirit Switchboard. I think it was about 5 or 6 weeks ago. I haven't worked with them. They weren't working together when I went through my situation. I did get asked to be part of a case they were working on, and I declined because they were still working with this team. And I just said professionally that I know how I would feel if I'd done a lot of work and put a lot of time in, and somebody marched into who I was working with and just took over or said, I don't like what you're doing or how you're doing it. So I haven't heard back from this person. I hope maybe they were able to solve their problem. But I said, you know, in the kindest and lovingest of ways, that you need to sort of finish and complete what you were doing with the first team. But anyways, there are teams out there that will help mentor you. There's lots of different courses you can take online. I've worked with a variety of different mentors. I always suggest to people, I do mentoring myself, but I suggest to people that you work with a variety of different mentors. There's nothing wrong with working with just one, but then you only learn from what their knowledge base is versus you work with a variety of different people in different areas and you get a much more well-rounded education, I believe. Plus also, I believe, and I've done it myself, is spirit will hold classes with you. And when I say spirit collectively, what Kelly was just mentioning, angels, ascended masters, spirit guides. When I go into the Akashic records, I can work one-on-one with individuals, but I usually work with a collective who I refer to as the masters, teachers, and loved ones, because then I get the perspective from all rather than just one. So Jennifer Frost, Casista, I think it is Casista. So I hope I said that right. She says, interesting and welcome. We're glad to have you here. And then Nicole says, we had a guy in the house also. He hung out in the hall, bathroom, and bedroom. He didn't bother us, so we let him stay. And you have that choice, but I like what you said. He didn't bother you. You knew he was there. And I've seen people even set boundaries with spirits there that are really no problem. Either they're not feeding off your energy, you're not feeling drained all the time. They're there, but they're not keeping you awake all night long. They're not scaring anybody. And so you say, yeah, you're free to stay as long as you don't bother us. We won't bother you. Now, there is, I mention him often, Jason Bland with Paranormal Soup. Love his show, Sunday nights. It's here on YouTube and Facebook. I think it's called Midwest Paranormal Presents Paranormal Soup. And he has really great guests and really great panel he does the show with. And he had one guest one time talking about they had heard about somebody that had a resident ghost they referred to that would actually like do the dishes and put their laundry away while they were at work. And I went, now that's the kind of ghost you wouldn't mind sharing a space with, right? Fortunately, it's not that often, or I should say, unfortunately, it's not that often. So Kelly's jewelry business is called Kelly's Rainbow Beadery. So check that out, you guys. She makes beautiful pieces. And so Nicole says, he was a shadow that just hung out. And Jennifer, oh, I did say your name right. She said I did say your last name right. Thank you. Now, okay, so like you said, he's a shadow. So let's talk about that for a second. Actually, I'm going to pull up a video. How about I show you guys this? Now, Jonathan, this was on your show with AJ Capasso, usually Robin Haffern. He's from Haffern Paranormal. And he, I don't think was there that day. So let me find it because David was a guest on your show. And I think it was it you, Jonathan, or AJ that noticed the shadow behind David? And the show is called Talking with the Source. I've been on it a few times. Love these guys. They're great hosts and get into some really interesting conversations. So I'm looking here. Come on, Laura, you must have sent this video. I know I did. I sent it towards the bottom. So let me go back down here. I sent it on Facebook. Did I not send it? Okay, maybe I'll have to send it again. It didn't go through while I'm talking to you. I downloaded because I always say some of the things with the paranormal. I'm going to read your comment just a sec. There's with the paranormal. Some of the questions I ask people are, do you have pets or do you have small children? Because I do believe that connecting with the other side is our birthright. And I actually downloaded a video to show you guys about all these little ones that are picking up on activity in their home. It's quite interesting. Oh, it's going to drive me crazy. I just had this video downloaded. So give me a sec, guys. I will find it as I'm yapping away here. Is this it? Okay, there it is. Good. Okay, I don't know why it didn't send through. I sent all the other ones through. Hang on, we'll send it through to Messenger and then I'll play it on the screen. Because with shadows, now you will meet people that say that all shadows are evil. And I tend to disagree. I know David and I talked about it on the thing at the foot of the bed last Thursday. And I asked Dave, oh, by the way, I'm going to give David a shout out. So David Hansel, he has a huge following on TikTok. And somebody stole his TikTok account and held it ransom. But guess what, folks? He's back. They gave it back. He messaged me last night. I was so happy for him. So he has two channels on there. I know he had written on the TikTok he posted today that, and I do the same. I never, sorry, I'm trying to concentrate. I never solicit readings or DM people, and neither does David, but he's back on there. So hopefully, I haven't talked to him, but hopefully tomorrow or Thursday before we go live, David and I will go on there and do readings. We usually do, and we answer questions and things like that. Okay, now we got to share this, and then I will get to your comment, Kelly. So this is what happened, and that was a great catch that you guys did, Jonathan, because this was live and it was not planned. David was a guest on their show a week ago. So hang on, make sure I add this. Now there's so many buttons to push, so give me a sec. Okay, add to stream. So I'm going to play it for you. I'm going to try and make it bigger. It's going to cut the boys out here, but you'll get to see the shadow better. So hang on. So it says
freaking powerful they were. Nothing could stop anybody here. But we
hold on. I have to ask you a question. Did somebody just walk by in front of you?
I thought it was AJ.
In front of the camera. Was somebody walking in the room in front of you?
Nope, I'm the only one here.
Did you see that, John?
Okay, watch again. They slow it down.
freaking powerful they were. I'm freaking powerful they were. I'm freaking powerful they were. I'm
talking with the source.
Okay, I'll stop that. Hang on, I gotta slow it down. Okay.
freaking powerful.
It's just gonna keep replaying. So yes, so there was a shadow right there. I asked Dave, was there anybody there afterwards that he noticed or anything unusual? And Dave said no. So was it a drop-in? I don't know, but it doesn't mean it was negative just because it was a shadow, right? So something interesting to look at. So Kelly says, let me highlight your comment, Kelly. She says, yes, there's a fine line between being angry and using a forceful tone. And I agree 100%. Some spirits don't always have our best intentions at heart. Some are considered very dangerous. I've seen a video of a young paranormal team challenging a negative spirit once, and they were angry at it, swearing at it, taunting it, and yelling at it until it took possession of their team member. He ended up getting really sick and ended up having a heart attack on camera. Oh my goodness. He was rushed to the hospital and survived. I think that says the heart attack. I can't read the rest of it, sweetie, because it cut off. And then Jonathan says, I believe that is how spirit chooses to show themselves. It's all about the light frequency. I agree. And what Dave and I were chatting about on Thursday night was like, what if it takes a lot of energy for a spirit to manifest themselves? So I've yet to see something that can hold a physical form for a long period of time. So when we see the spirit, what if they've got just enough energy to sort of manifest, and that's what we get to see is the shadow, right? It's certainly an interesting school of thought, I will say. But I downloaded this one video. It's not really paranormal, but sometimes real life things are more scary. And I thought, well, I'll show you guys this for a good giggle. Hang on. Close. Okay, it's this one. Takes me a minute. I got a bunch of buttons to push here. Hang on. This is in Australia. We don't have Michelle here tonight. Usually she's here from Australia, Michelle Pratt. But I believe this is in Australia. So give me a sec. Because sometimes real people and real life are scarier than anything paranormal. So Kelly added, rest of the comment, he survived the heart attack but quit the paranormal team. He said he never experienced anything so dangerous, and it can be. It's not often, right? And I think that we need to respect spirit, because what we see on TV is not real life, and it's not. I'm sorry, but it's not. And some people may think it is, but I can tell you from being on a television episode on my own that what they showed you was not how things happened. The last part of the reenactment, yes, they got that part right. But other than that, like everything we said was the truth. They interviewed us for 6 hours, and it was on Paranormal Survivor season 4. It was episode 9 called Demonic Hauntings. But we never spoke to the intuitives who commented on the episode. And one of them is now our station manager, Michelle DeRoche. I did not know her at the time. And same as the actors that did the reenactments, we never spoke to them. So I always say to people, if I share the link, just as you're going to be seeing this for the first time, that's how we found out what was in the episode. We had no idea. Okay. I should be able to do that. Jonathan, hang on. We got to be careful what we say on there. So if there's anything on there, we obviously, if it comes through the spirit box, not a problem. It's just what you might be saying on there. That's all, because that's the only thing you got to be careful with. So hang on. I'm going to show you. Sometimes real life is more spookier than. Okay, I got that on the screen as I'm yapping here, pushing buttons. Hang on, guys. New computer. I'm still getting used to. Everybody's got new computers. David's got a new one. I was talking to Michelle DeRoche. She's got a new one. We all got new computers. Okay, get a load of this. You're going to be looking on top of the roof here.
How are we doing away?
Oh.
We won't.
Look at the size of it.
They're freaky, they.
Oh, Phil.
Dad would be able to touch him.
No.
That's good.
Means it's
Watch
summer.
this. Careful.
Look at the size of this.
Oh, fucking shit.
Wait, Brian.
Oh, listen to Gary.
Wait till Willie sees this video.
Oh my Lord. Hang on, I gotta turn it off here. It's still playing, I think. Yeah, I gotta close it. Hang on. I just wanted to show you guys. I just saw that when I was looking for spooky things to share tonight. And I went, oh my gosh. Can you imagine? Oh, I just got the creepiest, grossest vision in my mind. Can you imagine? Oh, and goosebumps, and it's so hot here. Can you imagine if that thing fell through the roof? Oh, like how does something get that big? Like how? Jonathan, I'm going to try and click this. You know what? I think what you're going to have to do, if you can, send it to me, the link on Messenger, please. And then what I'll do is I'll highlight it. I'll play it off of Messenger because that's the easiest way for me to play videos. Same thing to anybody else out there. If you guys got spooky, creepy pictures or whatever you want to share and you want to talk about it or you want me to play it, I'm happy to play it here as long as it doesn't have filthy language or anything, but I trust y'all here. You know what I forgot to tell people, and we are at the top of the hour anyway, so I should remind people, if you're just tuning in, you're listening to 105.3 and 107.7 out of the beautiful city of New Orleans, Louisiana, and you are listening to the Angel Rock. I'm your host, Lorilei Potvin, and I'm a Canadian clairvoyant medium, crystal Reiki energy healer, Akashic Records practitioner, spiritual teacher and mentor, and registered nurse. Now, if you want to join the conversation, I knew I was forgetting something. Thanks. I see you sent it. I'll grab it right now, Jonathan. If you want to join the conversation, please head over to UFO Paranormal Radio, either Facebook or YouTube. You can head over to my Facebook profile, which is Lorilei Potvin. It's public, so I can see your comments. Same thing, The Angel Rock with Lorilei Potvin on YouTube. And then numerous pages on Facebook we're streaming to as well on Canada's Most Haunted. We're streaming to, where are News on the Flip Side, UFO, I think it's UFO Undercover. I'm trying to remember. But anyways, anywhere there, you type your comments, I will be able to see them and you can join in the conversation. So I'll read some of these comments about the monster snake. Jonathan Kewer says, oh my God. And Kelly Hopkins says, that's a big snake, I'll say. And then in capital letter, Jonathan wrote, nope. Yeah, I agree. I don't mind little snakes as long as they're not poisonous, but oh God, that's just awful. Okay, Jonathan, I see this. Hang on, let's see if we can find it. How long is it, Jonathan? Before I play it, just so I know. Okay. Oh, Laura Lee, question. Do you sell any crystal wands by chance? That's funny that you asked that, Kelly, because I'm making them. So what I've been working with, and I have one downstairs, I haven't finished it, is natural tree. And then I do need to open my store. And believe me, Spirit reminds me, I have a whole spiritual thing with the resin stuff. So crystal, Reiki, they're Reiki'd by me, anything that's spiritual. And it's got crystals in the bottom. It's a crystal charging plate with Metatron's cube. It's all hand painted. I've got a few other patterns like that. With the wands, because I make pendulums as well. Like I made a really cute Mickey Mouse one. It's half black, half red, and it's got little sparkles with little Mickey Mouse shapes. I'm trying to think what else. I've made some that I put crystals in. I've been experimenting with one with dragons, to put a dragon in there because I have some little teeny tiny dragons. But with wands, I have actually taken, if I'm not mistaken, it's clear quartz, and I put it in one of the pendulum wands, and then I wrapped it. So I haven't finished it yet, but yes, I am making wands too. Yes, I am. Oh, perfect. 53 seconds. So I do. I'm working on Halloween stuff right now, but I can tell you, if you were looking for something and you need it made, because I make my own molds now too. So if there's something that you were looking for that you can't find, let me know because I can probably make it. And that's anything. I have the cutest Buddha molds. I've got these clear crystal traniums that you can put Buddha molds. I've got molds for, God, what do you call them? Succulents. Took me a second. Succulents. You name it, I can make it. Trying to think. The book I showed you guys, I just about finished that. I showed you guys that about a month ago with all tiny little bottles, and it looks like an apothecary store, and you open it up and it's a journal. Oh, and then I have little tiny shelves because one of my subscription boxes, it was called the Kitty Cafe. So it makes little teacups with little kitties on the top and stuff, but I'm making spooky Halloween ones. So Kelly says, I'm considering buying a crystal wand from you. Yeah, send me a DM and we'll talk about it. Because like what I do with my pieces like this is I usually test them. Like, believe it or not, I make cigarette cases, and everywhere I go, people ask me, where did you get those? And you can make them in any color, any design. Um, I have one right now that my sister-in-law saw when she's up from Toronto, and her daughter loves Kuromi, who I love. That's how her daughter fell in love with it, my niece, from Sanrio. And it's got crystals on it. You can do bands. You could do NASCAR. You could do anything you wanted, any color, any season. They're hinged. They open. Pencil case mold. You name it. I have a mold for it. Like, I drive my partner Del crazy because I have pretty well commandeered the whole dining room and a lot of the kitchen with a lot of my stuff because I'm doing it all the time. Okay, Jonathan, let's play this. Make sure I got it loaded up here. Okay. So hang on. Let's talk about Ellen Greenberg for a minute though, because Jonathan, I'm really glad you're working on this, and I'm going to give one of my favorite YouTubers shout out. And well, actually there's a few channels that I love for true crime. One of my favorites is Grizzly True Crime, and her name is Gisela Kay. She is South African and she lives in the Netherlands, and she covers a lot of true crime cases, including Ellen Greenberg's case. There's also Surviving the Survivor with Joel. He's out of Florida. I always forget Chris's name with the interview room. He used to work for, I believe, I want to say the FBI or something. These guys, I love it because they're centered, and they're based only on facts. So I really, really love these three channels if you're looking for something in the way of understanding what's happened in a case. And I know that Gisela, or we call her G, covered the case of Ellen Greenberg. I've talked about her before because Jonathan has brought it up, and Jonathan's been connecting with Ellen Greenberg on the other side. Now, her death was ruled over 10 years ago a suicide. This woman was stabbed, I believe, 22 or 28 times in the back, which is almost physically impossible. She also was stabbed twice after she was dead, so post-mortem, and the knife was so deep that, let's just say, it went through the bone in the back of her head. I don't know how you do that after you've died. And her family has been fighting tooth and nail, and rightfully so, to have at least the decision or the report of her death changed into, at the very least, unknown. But basically, it was not suicide, and there is a lot of controversy. I hate the word conspiracy, but conspiracy. And sorry, Jonathan's correcting me, 20 times, 10 in the front and 10 in the back. I've heard a little differently. Jonathan has worked more closely with it, so I'll go with his numbers. But the main thing is, 2 of those wounds were after she died. I don't know anybody, especially being a nurse, that can do that to themselves in the back of the head 2 times after they died. Anyways, her ex-fiance was very well connected with a lot of higher ups in the community. I believe this was in Philadelphia. So there's a lot of conspiracy around this. And we have to be careful what we say on here, because we did have a conversation about this with Jonathan and David. We talked about this on the thing at the foot of the bed, and what Jonathan says he got from an EVP. David, my co-host, was picking up who might have done this to her, but I said we have to be careful what we say in here because we're on a network. So we are going to play Jonathan's EVP session. So when you hear him talking to Ellen, you will know who he's talking about. Make sure I've got this coming up on the screen. Come on, come up on the screen. I'll take that off of there. Okay, I'll try and make it a bit bigger. Jonathan, just give me a sec here. Yeah, so parents all say of her ex-fiance, well, not ex, I guess he's gone on to live, obviously, and get married. But his parents are friends of the governor, and they are. So hang on. I'm going to play this.
Can you tell me what room in the apartment you died in? What room did you die in?
Believably, when you ask what room, bathroom. Interesting. Okay, now that's interesting. Let's talk about that. I'm going to just close this for a sec. Stop sharing. Thanks, Jonathan, for sending me that. Okay, now where Ellen was found, you watched this too, Kevin said, bathroom word is so clear, and it was. Where she was found by her fiance at the time was in the kitchen, but they feel that her body was moved because she was sitting upright, yet she had a trickle of, I'll spell it for so it doesn't trigger anybody, Blood, but it was contraindicated to gravity. So if you had a trickle of, I'll just say it, blood, and it was, she had died sitting up, the blood should have been trickling down with gravity, and it was going in the opposite direction. So there's quite a bit of conspiracy about this, about where she died. So that's interesting with your EVP that you received. For those of you who don't know what an EVP is, it's called electronic voice phenomena, and it's done through ITC, which is intertrans communication. And there are devices out there that are believed, and I do believe that they connect with spirit on the other side, and you will hear an answer that would be an intelligent answer. That the voice that answered was able to give a clear, concise answer. And Jonathan, yeah, I know Jonathan, yet she was found in the kitchen and there wasn't enough of anything. Yes, they were pretty sure that she had been moved. So if you guys are really interested in this case, and I hope you are, and you will share this, because this family, she was their only child, and Sandy and Josh are her parents. There's a book out, or a book, sorry, there's a group out there called on Facebook, Justice for Ellen Greenberg. And if you go to Gavin Fish, like FISH, his YouTube channel, he has done so much work in investigative reporting on this case. And it definitely needs a lot more public awareness and public attention to this, because my heart just breaks for this family. Gisela on Grizzly True Crime did interview Josh and Sandy. She also interviewed, and you may know better than me, I can't remember his name, Jonathan, but he's a retired police officer, detective, older gentleman, and he doesn't mince words. He's been interviewed on Gisela's channel, as well as Gavin Fish has been on numerous times to talk about the case. Yeah, and Jonathan says it's such an awesome site. You can sign a petition there to have Ellen's case reopened. I've signed it. Actually, the last time we talked about them on here, Jonathan, I did tag them on Facebook and let them know. And I marked in, I think I private messaged them actually. I don't know if they wrote me back. I don't think they did, and I didn't expect a response, but I let them know that we were talking about her case, and this is where they could find it in the video. And I will probably do the same with this video for them, so they know that there's other people out there trying to get the message across, and that we're thinking of them, because they definitely need our prayers and energy, as well as do many people out there who go through such tragedies like this. They really, really do. So I hope that, because every time this family gets close to having, the cause of death reversed, I don't know why somebody is calling me right now at the moment. Goodness gracious. Good thing I'm not on my phone. Um, anyways, sorry about that interrupt. I feel like I'm a squirrel, like going squirrel, squirrel. But my phone's like vibrating. I'm going, who's calling me right now? And they're calling me again. I'm just going to have to ignore it. I know who it is. I'll have to message them afterwards. But they definitely need, some positive energy, because every door they open, the closer they get to getting this, the ideal situation would be like the cause of death overturned and not unknown. It would be homicide, because when you look at the details of this case, and I'm not saying that's what it is, you need to make up your own mind, but I think any person that could read will quickly see exactly what we're talking about. And I give you huge props too, Jonathan, for connecting on the other side through ITC with Ellen, because we need, now, of course, you can't use that in a court of law, but you can certainly get some interesting information from spirits that can tell you what happened, and it can kind of help reinvigorate the case sometimes by giving details. Yeah, exactly, Jonathan. Plus, there's life insurance things if somebody has unalived themselves, and it's pretty clear that Ellen did not do this to herself. She didn't. So this family needs help. So I'll leave it at that. But thank you for sharing that. Now, if there's anybody out there, like I said, you have some scary pictures or videos or whatever, or you got a question for Spirit, I'm happy to do that. In the meantime, I'll see what I put a whole bunch. I was talking about little ones on here. So let me see if I can find that one. This one's really freaky. This is little kids. It's a little, hang on. It didn't make a lot of sense, this first video, when you see it, and they're going to circle back to it. But hang on, I think I'm going to share this one with the kids, because that's one of the questions. On Thursday, you heard him yell. Oh, before we even play that, I'm so glad you brought that up, Z Sun Dragon. Oh, I got goosebumps again. So Kevin is right about this. Hi, Derek. I'm going to do your comment next. Okay, so Z Sun Dragon, Kevin was there on Thursday night on the thing at the foot of the bed with David and I. David has 4 cats. I have cats. And we were live. And I said, Dave, did your cats just meow? And he goes, no, they're all sleeping. I went back. There is all kinds of noises in our recording. I don't know what it is. I don't even know if it was a cat, but it is there. And then when I was trying to find the exact spot, because I marked it down, I'll have to find out. I think it was about 14 minutes and 32 seconds in. As I was trying to find the exact spot, I'm hearing all kinds of little noises, and it was not my pets, and it was not David's pets. So I don't know what this is, but I didn't listen to the whole show too. I would bet if you listen with headphones, you're going to hear all kinds of EVPs that night. So I'm not sure what it was, because Dave and I talked. I'm so glad you brought that up, Kevin, because Dave and I talked about it after the show on Thursday night, and he showed me where his babies were. And indeed, they weren't even in the room, and they were all asleep. And I don't have any pets in here right now, and I didn't either. So I have no idea what it was. It wasn't scary. It sounded kind of cute, actually, because it wasn't quite a meow. It was kind of just a kind of like this noise, like just kind of higher pitch, kind of like that. And you can hear it throughout. It wasn't a dog whining. It wasn't anything. I don't know what it was. So it's pretty cool. So hang on, I'm going to go through our comments before I play the video I was going to play. So Derek White Sky Cloud, good friend of mine, and he's got his own shows too that he does. You're doing them on YouTube, aren't you, Derek? Please forgive me if I get that wrong. Just go ahead and put the link in the chat. He said, this Thursday night, we're going to use our ghost box to chat with spirits regarding the past and the future. I love it. So please be sure to put the details, Derek. People can tune in and hear where you're doing that. And then he says, one ghost said World War III is not going to happen. Well, that's a whole different can of worms to open up. I have my own theories on that. And then you start getting into UFOs and ETs. I don't know if y'all heard about this, but there was something going on in, God, was it in Portugal, I want to say? And they got these strange green lights in the sky. And then I seen all kinds of things here locally and all around the world. People seem to be seeing the same thing. I don't know what it was. Nobody said UFO or ET. But my thoughts are, and what I received from Spirit, and I believe probably ET. Now, I'm not 100% right, but I've seen enough. And I have a friend by the name of Dan Willis. You can find this on Rumble. It's called Why the Secret Space Program Will Remain Secret. And he's talked on the Angel Rock. My first year on the network, mainly, I had him on a lot about they thought disclosure was going to happen May 6, 2002. There was well over 20 scientists and higher ups in the U.S. military that came with what kids call the receipts nowadays. And they were all under oath testifying to the existence of what they had experienced with extraterrestrials. And at that time, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Dan had said they testified to the existence of 57 types of extraterrestrials. All the major news organizations were there, and they thought this was it. Disclosure was going to happen. And Dan was one of the people that was making his little presentation. And what ended up happening that night, apparently, on the major news sources, they all made a mockery and joke of it, like 15 to 30 seconds at the end of the broadcast. Like, some people think that aliens exist. So the reason for this was they were hoping to get an invite to Congress, to go before U.S. Congress and bring all their evidence. Like, there were admirals, there were higher up majors from all the military organizations in the U.S. Anyways, Dan has talked about this a lot on my show, but he put the actual clips from that day, that particular day, of people testifying. And there's all kinds. There's one particular, I believe, soldier that was testifying that they were on one Navy ship and they thought they were under attack. They were all seeing this very large UFO, and I guess they pulled out all their weapons, including even nuclear type weapons. And basically what happened, all their weapons were rendered useless. He testified, if my memory serves me right, that some of these weapons were like hundreds of thousands of dollars worth. The nuclear ones, they were basically bricks. They were useless afterwards. So my theory from what I've received is, and can't quote me on this, but I believe it. And I always say, focus on what you want to see, not what you don't. Plus, there's lots of documentation around the world where UFOs have been seen over nuclear power plants and stuff, where everything just shuts down. And if you think about it, and you believe that we're not alone in the universe, and especially where we're situated, that if we go ahead and mess around with stuff like that with our planet, we don't just affect ourselves, we affect everybody. Just some food for thought. So I have a feeling we may receive a little outside help should anybody have a crazy idea like that. Just my thoughts. So Jonathan says, oh, wow. And then Derek says, I'm not sure what you mean, their thoughts of the big C. You said huge response. And then Derek said, you have a lot of kitties following you. I don't know what we got. Well, I had a reading with the most incredible animal communicator, because I'm having a problem with my son's cat urinating on his bed, and she had stopped. And then started with a vengeance last Wednesday and Thursday, like stripped the bed 4 times, and I have a waterproof mattress cover on there. So she's awesome. She's phenomenal. And she's coming next week to talk to us about what she does. And I think she was really on the money with a lot of stuff, because when you're a psychic or a medium or you do this kind of work, less is more, right? The least amount of information you have, then you know what you're receiving is from spirit. And in between the amount of goosebumps I kept getting, including, I call that my truth, my sign for truth. And many of us in the field call it truth bumps. And then she knew things that I hadn't told her, that the cat told her. So she's coming next week. So I'm super excited. I'd asked her if she was available this week. She goes, well, it's a little bit short notice. And I said, that's okay. I love hanging out with all of you tonight. I said, I don't get to do that very often, especially once the summer's over. I have so many people to book amazing, wonderful guests coming on. But I love doing hangouts with all of you like this and interacting. So then Derek says from this, oh, the Kitty's from the spirit world. And so Derek is going to be doing this on Facebook, he said, with his friend Bill Hauser, and you'll be talking about it. Okay, I'm still reading. We have the recorded audio. And Kelly said, I seen this on TikTok. I'm friends with this person and they frequently post all kinds of scary things. Kelly, if you want me to play it, please share it to me on Messenger and I will be happy to share it. I will be happy. And then Derek says, hang on. I have a lot of photos of aliens. Derek, White Sky Cloud, I tell so many people about that interview between you and Sebastien Martin and the one that Johnny Enoch did. I have shared that link numerous times with people. And if I can't remember the exact name of the video. Derek will probably remember. If he can, please put it in the chat. That is a fascinating interview to watch if you're into UFOs, aliens, the Anunnaki, and what it's like to be on a ship. I'm telling you, it'll blow your mind. So, Nicole, I see your question about dreams. I will get to that. JK47 on. I'm not sure what you mean about that, my friend. That's Jonathan. And then Kelly says, sent. Yes, that's what the ding was. I see you. So Kelly, before I show your video, I'll answer Nicole's question and then we'll play it for you. So Nicole says, I have a question for Spirit about dreams. Can you learn if weird dreams mean something or they're just your brain clearing out the day? There you go. Now that's not a simple question, but fortunately, I do have some answers on that. First of all, the only person that knows what a dream means the most is you. So what I always say to people, and I practice what I preach. Here we go. I could keep going. I have so many notebooks and stuff because I still take courses. I'm taking a course on animal communication and a different type of mediumship because I always probably going to be a lifelong learner. I always say the more you open the lid off Pandora's box when it comes to this field and some of the things we're talking about, I learned long ago how infinitesimal, I can't even say infinitely larger the world of the paranormal and supposedly unknown is in what we would perceive to be regular life. Oh, coming on your show. Yes. And you know what? I'm so glad you asked that, but I can address you on here. I was thinking of approaching you boys to have you all on, or just even you, Jonathan. And I was thinking about it tonight. And then I thought, it's short notice. I didn't know if I was going to put a replay on for y'all. I do have a show that is pre-recorded that I had forgotten about, and I'm very sorry about it, but it was done in December. I do have to go out and edit a few things, and it is with Frank Jacob. If you don't know who Frank Jacob is, look him up. He's been on the Inspired channel quite a bit. I don't think Frank will see this, but if he does, I did not forget about him. Well, I did, actually. I got so busy with Christmas and stuff, and I was thinking, should I put a replay on tonight? And I always am chatting with Spirit. And I said, no, hang out. And then I was thinking, should I have a guest on? This is probably going to be one of the last few hangouts. Maybe within the next month, I might have one or two. But once I get all the people booked that I need to get booked, we're not going to have many openings. So coming on my show, yes, I would love to have you on and we can talk about that after, Jonathan, I promise. Back to Nicole's question. So with dreams, and I do have a couple dream people that I have had on the show, one in particular by the name of Delphi Ellis from over in the UK. She's been on their morning show. She's been on all kinds of things. She gave a lot of great information about dreams. But what I suggest to people, and I do it myself, is before your feet hit the ground, always keep a pen and paper by your bed. You don't have to write a novel, and just start jotting down what you're dreaming about very quickly. Now, it may take a while, but as you start going back through it, say after a month or two, you're going to see a pattern. You're either going to see things that came up that you'll know if it was because we do have predictive dreams. We do have what you said of your brain just clearing out what you go through when you think of the amount of thoughts and words and experiences we have in a 24-hour day. The brain basically uses sleep. One of the ways in the dream state is to file away things. So that could be a nonsense dream. That's sort of what it would be referred to. It's just sort of clearing things out and filing things where they belong. You could have a predictive dream. You could have a visitation in a dream, because it's much easier for our loved ones to visit us in the dream state because we are wide open and we don't question things. Then we can also astral travel. Then once you can get good with lucid dreaming, you can control your dreams. And I've had Lana Sackwild on about that. That's another great show to watch about dreaming. So, the best way I think you can learn about this is by keeping notes. And I always say this to people too. When it comes to crystals, when it comes to dreams and symbolism, symbology, and things, people will tell you a spider means this, a hedgehog means that. Some people can have channeled that information, or they might have experienced it or spoken to a variety of people and found that most people experience something in general, like a lot of people did, that are similar, and write that down. So, for example, with crystals, I always tell people you're going to have people out there that will tell you can buy a multitude of books about crystals. But if you say go into a crystal store and your eye draws you to something and you pick it up and you get a particular sensation or whatever, right? And maybe it's different from what's been written in the books. That's okay. That just means that's the experience you're meant to have with that particular crystal. Same as with dreams. So, people will ask sometimes about repetitive dreams. A lot of times, repetitive dreams come up because spirit loves to work this way. They may give you a little tiny nudge and then a little firmer nudge and then a little bit more and a little bit more. And that can be one of the things coming up in a repetitive dream. A lot of times, repetitive dreams also can be bringing up things that we need to process, that maybe we have fears about, or we're procrastinating about, or maybe it's something we really want to do, but we're holding ourselves back. We could do a whole show on dreams. But the simple answer for you, I would say, Nicole, is to start keeping a dream journal. And I guarantee you, going back through it, even going back, say, 6 months, you're going to look back and go, holy cow, this is what that meant. That is what that meant. This is what that meant. Or, yeah, that's just a nonsense dream. You can remote view in the dream state. There's so many things you can do. And I can't actively control all my dreams. I was practicing and I got so excited that I realized I was having a lucid dream. I woke myself up. That was a couple months ago. So I'm still working on it. But like you said, Nicole, I keep having weird dreams. Okay. But that's the thing. Okay. I'm glad you brought this up. You keep having weird dreams of dead people. But what we need to realize is the subconscious speaks a different language than I really hate this term, but you'll hear it referred to, the monkey mind or our brain, what we actually think controls everything, but it doesn't. It's just like it's the operating system of our subconscious. Our subconscious is always on and always awake. So a lot of times when you see dead things, it doesn't mean, say, somebody around you is going to die or what have you, right? It could mean the ending of something, moving something out of the way so something better comes into place. You could be having a change in a job or a home, depending on who these people are associated with. Sometimes we don't even know who they are. That's why it's always really good to start keeping just quick little notes, jotting it down, even if you are having the dream, like you said, of dead people. Sometimes too, if you have a nonsense dream and it gets really crazy, maybe take notice even of what you've eaten, because I swear to God, certain foods can cause strange dreams too. But I really truly believe, and it was a woman named Delphi Ellis. She had a book and she came on, and I have to agree with her that only you really know what that dream means the best. You could have somebody analyze it and look at it and what have you. And I guarantee you, you could go to 10 different people privately in a room. Everybody's going to tell you something different, because you're the one that had the experience. You're the one, your subconscious is feeding you that information. And it's up to you to start decoding it. And the best way is to keep notes. And that would be my suggestion. Derek. Oh, okay. Derek. So do you know what the name of it is? I can try and share it. Okay. So this interview I referenced with Derek, with Johnny Enoch and Sebastien Martin. It is the most fascinating story of Derek's experience. I can't speak. And Sebastian's experience. And I believe it was with the Anunnaki and them being on the ship and the whole bit. I guarantee you it's a fascinating video because I've shared this video with so many people. Oh no, Kelly says spirits are playing with your connection. That sucks. Hang on. So I know Kelly sent me a video. So let's play Kelly's video. I had this one queued up, but we'll play Kelly's video. So hang on, Kelly. And I trust Kelly that she sent it. It'll be okay. So hang on. Why do I know this name, Jesse James? I'm sure I do. Hang on. Oh, it's on TikTok. Crap. I hate when it's on TikTok. There's a reason why. Because TikTok, yes, this is why. Because everything comes up and it wants me to sign in. And we'll see if it'll let me play it. It's a pain in the butt on TikTok because Dave sent me a bunch. So just hang on here, Kelly. Hopefully I can play it. I usually what I do, the videos I've sent on, I share on TikTok. I have downloaded them. So, well, we'll see. We'll just see because I did it. I think David on a Thursday night sent me some TikTok videos to play. So let's see. I've got 20 million buttons to push here. So share screen. We want TikTok, not Facebook. So TikTok share. Hang on. It's going to bring me there. Now I got to go over here and then share here. Okay, we'll wait till it comes up. They're usually really hard to see. Is it going to come up? Are you coming up? Okay, there it is. I'll try and make it bigger, but just hang on. Let me wind it up. I don't know what the reference is to this, but we will see.
Family pet brings home the skin.
Smiley? Smiley?
Okay, Kelly, you're going to have to give us some context on this now. What was that? Like, I seen some eyes in the pane of glass, but what was that? Because I got some spooky videos I downloaded here to share with y'all. Boy, oh boy, do I. And then I forgot that News Top 5 has TikTok. So I'd seen a lot of those already, though. So, and I think I've talked about some of them. But I'll wait till you can type it, Kelly. You can tell us what the context of that was. But it was certainly, like I said, let me see if I can find I had one that now I got to scroll down. I got too many messages. Hang on. By the way, the animal communicator's name is Julie Jean Bassett. She was recommended to me by Leanne Clark, who was on here with Debbie Anderson with the Salveggio tones. I think that was last Monday. And she's just wonderful. I just loved her. So I asked her if she would please come on because I've had pet mediums on before, but I've not had someone that works with animals that are still earthside. Okay, let's play this one with the kids. So this one I'm going to play. It's not going to make a lot of sense because I kept going, well, what the heck am I looking at the beginning? But they circle back to it. So give me a sec here. Okay, the video is about their dog bringing home a skinwalker creature and it scared the owner. She recorded it. Are you serious? Because I don't know about y'all, but I've been seeing more and more videos of people that have been out in the woods and they'll get something strange or growling or something. And the next thing you know, you're hearing a human voice yelling, help, help, help. It's pretty darn creepy, I'll tell you. You'll have to maybe, I am serious. I am safely guessing she allowed her dog out and it brought back something it shouldn't have. Oh my God. No, we don't want that. That's for sure. That was creepy. Well, you put the link, I think, in the chat too, so people can go there and look at them themselves. Because, yeah, I have some videos like that too that, like I said, we're running. This always goes by so quick, you guys. I swear. Okay, make sure I'm sharing this. Hang on as I'm yapping. No, I'm not. See, I would have been playing this and you guys wouldn't have been able to see it. Okay, so this is the one with kids and spirit. So what this on the screen, if you can't read it, it says, A mother is talking to her daughter. It says, always believe your kids. Mother is talking to her daughter about her grandma. And the strange thing is, her little girl doesn't know the mom's nickname. And it won't quite, you'll figure it out as the video plays. It's 1.5 minutes, but I'm going to play it because it's pretty interesting. And this is why I always ask, do you guys have kids or animals? Because little ones especially, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
And she says, "Hi, Jamila."
Cheese. Cheese. What you doing? What you see?
You said
What?
Papa if you can't read it.
What you see? Who you saying hi to? Who are you saying hi to? Dude, you need to stop that. You're freaking me out. Come on.
Who are you waving at, Liv?
I love this video.
Bye. Was she did you get my almost couldn't walk?
She was old. She could walk, but she was old. Okay?
Mommy, your grandma's here. And she says, "Hi, Jamila."
What?
Your grandma's here. And she says, "Hi, Jamila."
Follow for more.
Let me stop this, guys. Okay, so that started the video. And so at the beginning of the video, and yes, Jonathan, I will pull a card for you tomorrow. You didn't know what she was saying, but what it was, they circled back to it. She was interviewing the mom, the little girl, and the little girl was telling her things about the grandma she had never met. Like she said, well, she couldn't walk. And then she tells her mom the nickname that the grandma used to call her mom as a little girl. And the little girl didn't know the nickname. I guess nobody knew the nickname. She hadn't told anybody. And then you hear the little girl say, "Your grandma's here." And she says she used to call you, it was like Gemma or Jemima or something. The second video, and I've seen that before, it's this little one and mom's taking a picture. It's supposed to be a really cute picture. And the little one goes into the bedroom and keeps pointing and pointing. And she says, "Who are you looking at?" And he says, "Papa." And then I understand maybe as a parent getting freaked out, but I guess I probably wouldn't say that that's the most supportive thing. I mean, I'm trying not to say it with any judgment, but a little one's going to see how scared your parent is. And she says, "You need to stop that. You're freaking me out." So I don't know if maybe they may have had another opportunity to have a different reaction to it because the little boy wasn't scared. I thought it was cool too. Jonathan says that was so cool. And then I'm trying to think of the third one. Oh my gosh. The first time I saw that video, I started to cry. And the context I know of this video, because I've seen it, wasn't given in that one. But this mother had recently lost her own mom. And her mother had been able to see the little one that's waving the little girl as a baby. But I mean, she's not even old enough to really even talk in full sentences. So she brought her to the cemetery. She was visiting her mother. And the little one starts saying, hi, or "Hi, grandma," or "mama," or something. She was saying it. And then you see her. It was hard to see, but she goes to kiss on the cheek, and she's waving. And I think she even says, "Love you," or something. And it was so sweet because little ones can see spirit. I truly, truly, truly believe it. Truly. I'm going to read, like I said, Jonathan says that was so cool. And it was. That's why it said, always believe your kids. That's, like I said, that's one of my questions when I do an interview, always with people, is to ask them, do you have small children? And do you have pets? And if so, what are they doing? How are they acting? What's been their experiences? So Kelly says, So I got to show that Kelly didn't show. I notice that she has several videos of this creature not leaving her porch. It's quite creepy, yet so intensely interesting because these creatures are becoming more common amongst us. The veils are becoming more thinner in this world. And Coralie Almgren said, my children had many experiences. That's interesting. It would be so cool to talk about. We're almost out of time, unfortunately, Coralie, but I'd love to hear more about your experiences or your children's if you're comfortable sharing. And Kelly, well, the other thing is too, right? There's a video on here and I didn't get to play it and I wanted to. I'll save it for next time we do another show. But this thing, I swear to God, looks like Slender Man and something else. And I don't watch horror movies. These look pretty darn real to me. I don't know what they are, but we're hearing more and more. Thank you, Coralie. I'd love to hear more about it. We're hearing about dogmen and things like this, right? Like Slender Man and things that never really existed before. Well, dogmen have, but to start hearing with more frequency, or skinwalkers, or all this kind of stuff, right? So interesting. I'll have to follow her channel, Kelly, and I'll let you know what I think, because I do spend time researching and checking out videos. Plus, I want to talk about what y'all want to talk about. And Derek says the mailman. So Jonathan asked me, hey, Lorilei, would you pull a card for me to see about my show tomorrow for Ellen? And I would. And what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to pull 2 cards and you guys take whatever resonates with you and leave the rest. Okay. So, and then we got to run because please stay tuned, because if you guys like all things paranormal, the Horsefly Chronicles are up right after me with Julia and Philip Syracuse. So they always have great guests and really good shows. So I'd love for you to stay tuned and have a listen to them. So I'm pulling from the Angels of Abundance. And then I'll pull from one more deck quickly. So it's not going to be a long reading. I never ever got this card. I've cleared this deck to make sure it's clear, because sometimes if it starts giving me the same cards, I always, Roger Blair, I've never heard of Dogman until a few years ago. Goatman is another one. Will you guys save all these comments for the next time we do a show on our own? We can talk about all this, or bring them to Thursday night with the thing at the foot of the bed, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because David Hansel and I are going to be on. We talk about these kind of things as well. So we'd love to talk about them. Owlman, oh yeah, I just had a huge conversation about owls, UFOs, ETs, and Mike Cleland, and we'll see what happens. Apparently Joe Montaldo has interviewed him over 10 years ago, but let me tell you, check that out. That's fascinating. So one of the cards, if this resonates, take what resonates, leave the rest. No more complaining. Complaints are affirmations of victimhood, which is never true spiritually. Take back your God-given power by affirming that you have an abundance of choices and freedom. With your increased confidence and assertiveness, watch these positive affirmations blossom into reality. And what I'm going to add about this is, take an inventory, even if it's only for an hour or something. But if you can, even throughout the day, set a timer while you're working or whatever you're doing. And when the timer goes off or the alarm, stop and say, what was that last thought just going through my mind? You'd be surprised the amount of negativity and thoughts and things that go through our heads that we never even consciously pay attention to. Now, if you notice that it was something really negative, this isn't about beating yourself up. This is about giving yourself grace, giving yourself love, treating yourself even the way you would treat, say, a small child that was in need of something. Now, I'm not saying we're small children. What I'm saying is most of us would never be unkind to a small child. We'd be very understanding, give them a lot of grace, a lot of love, and a lot of guidance and support. So if it's a thought that was going through that was really negative, it's okay. I think it was Carrie Lynn. I think she says, stop, erase, and delete, and then change it to a thought, a more positive thought if you want, just to get yourself more in the mindset of catching these thoughts as they go by with no judgment. But we started the show with how powerful our thoughts, our words, and our emotions are. And then, Sheep Squatch, Roger Blair. Now I got to check it out. He goes, and the hellhound. Oh God, yes, I love talking about hellhounds and stuff like this. I do. And Sandra says, "Good night, everyone. Good show, and thank you, Lorelei. Thank you, Sandra. It's quiet tonight." And Jonathan says, "Great show. Check it out." Yes, Jonathan, feel free. I didn't even tell you that. Put in the comments as well. I told everybody else, I'm sorry, or anybody else that's got a show coming up, please put it in the comments and what night and what time. And check out all the people that are in the audience. You guys, they support my show. I would not have a show here if I didn't have all of you in the audience. And we'd like to support everybody that's it. We got a great chat group here and people listening as well. Okay, one more card quickly. Awesome show, Lorelei. Always a pleasure being here with you. Well, thank you. Always a pleasure being here with all of you. I love doing shows like this. Love it. Like I say, I love having guests. But sometimes if you've got a guest that's got a lot to share, I don't get to pull in as many comments. And I'd like to do these shows for you guys that we talk about what y'all want to talk about. Facebook user, Tips Top Hat, that's got to be Howie O'Dell. And Kevin Z Sun Dragon says, "Great show, thank you." Because we got to be out of here. I'm running over a minute or two, but that's okay. We're going to pull a quick card. This card, Freya, Phases and Cycles. There is a beginning within every ending. Illusions are revealed and released. So take a look at where things are going right now on in your life. If you are maybe heading towards an ending that you're dreading, maybe you do not want that to happen. Just remember, okay, there's always a beginning, there's always an ending, there's always a new tomorrow, an opportunity to start a new, fresh start. But the other thing is, a lot of times when we move something out of the way, it makes room for something bigger and better. Yes, you don't anymore, Derek. Derek doesn't get a chance to chat with me. You're darn right. Nobody does. You can ask everybody here. I'm super busy. I love all you. I'm so grateful that you're all here. Thank you. If you ever want to get a hold of me to book a reading, I do teaching. I also do mentoring, paranormal help. You got a guest or show idea. I do energy healing. Get a hold of me on facebook.com/Angel Rock. And I have two groups on Facebook, Paranormal University and the Angel Rock for all things paranormal, and the second one for all things spiritual. And I will be back on Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with The Thing at the Foot of the Bed with the amazing David Hansel. And I can't wait. So save some of these comments, y'all. We'll talk about them on Thursday. I'll let Dave know. Got a lot of unfinished business to chat about on Thursday night. And I will be back with the Angel Rock next week, same time, same space, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I just told you, I've got Julie coming, an amazing animal communicator, and I used her myself. All right. Y'all have a good one. Stay tuned for Horsefly Chronicles coming up next. All right. Talk to you later. Have a good one. See you Thursday.